Magic Johnson. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107.
I'm just telling you right now, Irvin Magic Johnson is in a world of trouble.
He's coming to take over First Take. Nah, bro.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, too.
I don't know if you ready for this smoke, Magic.
That's a hot seat he ain't ready for. You better be nervous, bro. This is First Take.
We know how to deal with that type of pressure.
I'm the Magic of this show. I'm Magic Johnson, okay?
He made me mad now.
Magic Johnson's scared. Trust me. He know what time it is.
He in trouble. Let's go.
Yes! Finally here, the Magic Man in the building. Magic Johnson. We're just a little bit excited to have you. And this man, back from vacay, rested, ready to go. You both look very handsome. I love
and you're
the
looking
fit.
beautiful as well.
Thank you, thank you.
I could tell her that, but you know.
Oh, I can't say that?
No, her head is big enough. You know, I don't need
my
to get
goodness.
big.
I told, I'm taking a picture of them boots she got on, sending them to Cookie, because the boots are fly. The boots
She stepped up her game because she was walking around with some Nurse Betty boots weeks ago. So I had to check on that. She's upgraded.
When the Hall of Famers in the building, we got to step it up. We got to bring the A game.
Right.
Gentlemen, this is going to be fun. We ready to do this?
Yes.
You ready? You ready? I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
right
man.
here. I'm sitting right here.
I'm just saying. You know?
Do you think I'm going to run from you?
I was wondering whether you was going to show up or not.
Oh, it's like that now.
The magic of debates. What sad story should we start with? Your Knicks, your Lakers?
Either one, because he's one of the reasons.
Let me throw this out.
No.
Let's just throw this out.
Okay.
Just get this out the way.
Sure.
This man just committed the ultimate form of blasphemy.
What?
He went on that show, Get Up, before he came over here and said, me, Stephen Naismith himself. This dude I'm the reason my Knicks are missing the playoffs.
Yep, you're one of the reasons. I came on this show and I said the Knicks should sign Lonzo Ball.
Oh, please. What? So he having a good year, all right? I mean, that's now. We didn't know that.
He was having a good year before that, too.
Excuse me, he's a career 36% shooter from three-point range, and he shoots 43% this year, and you want to stop the presses. I mean, we didn't see that
Do they have a tape of
no, they don't have
Brooklyn, the net game when the Bulls played the Nets, and who hit the winning shot, three-point shot?
No.
Do we have?
No.
Can we run that tape? Do we have that? Because,
see,
Lonzo Ball already knew how to play with Julius Randle because he played together with the Lakers.
Was he gonna keep Julius Randle strong?
Coach Tibbs stressed defense. Lonzo Ball, one of the best defensive guards in basketball.
I agree with that.
Big, 6'6", 6'7".
I agree with that.
And he can make everybody on that team better because he's a pass-first point guard. See, that's what happened. See, you should have stayed with, first the Knicks should have stayed with their DNA, stayed with defense. They got away from it. They signed offensive guys. You kept saying, no, Lonzo Ball's not the answer.
I still believe that.
Well,
I don't think that Kemba Walker is Evan Fournier the answer either, but it's not like I think Lonzo Ball was the answer.
Lonzo Ball would have made them a playoff team. I'm telling you right now.
Magic,
man,
playoff
Toppin,
team.
they would have loved.
Lonzo?
They would have loved. Toppin would have been dunking. Man, they would have loved. Quickly would have been set up for them three-point shots.
Excuse me. If Lonzo Ball was there, it would have made Julius Randle better. That would have kept Obi Toppin on the bench, which means we wouldn't have seen those dunks. You know Tom Thibodeau. You know how he is. But let's move on to the Lakers. I'll deal with you later. This is ridiculous.
Robinson would have been great, too. Robinson would have been great with Lonzo Ball.
You starting off on the wrong foot.
Gentlemen,
come on.
Anthony Davis talking a lot about could-have, should-have, would-have.
Yeah.
Let's go there. So regardless of the talent, the Lakers' playoff hopes continue to look grim. After their sixth straight loss Sunday, falling to the Denver Nuggets on their home floor, falling further from playing contention. Much of their struggles are a result of injuries. Anthony Davis, most notably, missing 39 of LA's 78 games. Their loss to Denver Sunday, coupled with the San Antonio Spurs' win over the Portland Trail Blazers, increased the Spurs' lead for the number 10 seed and final playing spot in the West, 2 games with 4 games remaining. But since the Spurs own the tiebreaker by winning their season series against the Lakers, LA would actually have to gain 3 games on the Spurs by season's end to catch San Antonio. Coach Frank Vogel, what's on your mind?
Sucks telling these guys every game, proud of you, good effort. We lost. So it's not fun, but it could be worse, you know, if things were unraveling. Our group has stayed together. They're putting in a good fight. Their attitude has been wonderful in terms of just like working together to get this thing right. And it's just disappointing to come in and, just keep saying we fell short.
All right, Magic. We know about the injuries. Tell me this. What went wrong for the Lakers?
That can't be the excuse, though, Molly.
Yeah.
Because AD was out last year and we made the play-in game and we made the playoffs. So, first of all, he's got to get healthy and stay on the court, okay? That's number one. Accountability is big here. And the Lakers all season have not taken accountability. Whether that's individual play, whether that's on the defensive end, whether that's playing together, Stephen A. So my problem is with them saying, making all these excuses. So we're making excuses again. Quit making excuses. This thing did not work out. The parts did not fit. And last but not least, it's not all on Frank Vogel. We know he's going to get fired. We know that. If the players don't say, I got to get better next season, because Stephen A., they coming back with the same team, not the same 9 role players, right, but the core 3 is probably going to have to come back because you can't attach a first-round pick trying to trade Westbrook. You just can't do that because now we don't have any more first-round picks. So they're going to have to say, you know what, we got to work this thing out. And Russell's got to look up and say, the last 3 weeks I've been playing pretty good. You got to play like that going into next season.
Magic, I'm glad you're here, my brother. It's always good to see you. Let me say this, man. When I hold Frank Vogel accountable, I'm not blaming him.
That's right.
For the Lakers' demise. Please don't get me wrong. LeBron James got his fingerprints written all over this, regardless of the numbers he's been putting up as an individual player. We got to remember what LeBron James' greatest gift has always been prior to this year. It's maximizing the potential of the pieces around him to facilitate winning. He hasn't done that. We can speculate as to why that is, but nevertheless, that's on him because he was the guy that went to them and said, I want Russell Westbrook. Not DeMar DeRozan, not Buddy Hield, Russell Westbrook. LeBron James' fingerprints are written all over this. There's no doubt. Anthony Davis, you talked about he's got to stay on the court. Well, let's be specific about that. You have players who play in the offseason, but do they really take care of themselves to better position themselves for what's coming down the pike? See, LeBron does that.
Right.
Other players don't. Some people look at Anthony Davis, and even though you'll look at him and sometimes you say he's in shape, sometimes you'll say he isn't. What's undeniable is that from a strength and conditioning standpoint, you're not doing something right in the offseason to get yourself ready for the upcoming season. That's a problem. Number 3, we look at Russell Westbrook. He doesn't fit, but Russell Westbrook's got to look at himself because a vast majority of this season, again, when I made the statement, that's the first time I looked at Russell Westbrook and say he didn't deserve to be a Laker. I want you to hear what I was saying. Magic, I wasn't talking about his play on the court.
Right.
I was talking about the dude that went up in the press conference and said, I have no expectation. You can't be a Laker and ever utter the words out of your mouth. You have no expectations. I'm talking to an all-time greatest Laker. This man, Kobe Bryant, debated all you want to. We know who this man is, 5-time champion, wearing the purple and gold. I don't even want to get into how you was feeling when you heard Russell Westbrook say, I have no expectations as a Laker.
I called you,
That's
so
right.
You know.
Exactly. It's like, what? What do you mean you have no expectations? You can't say that. But my last point is Vogel. And here's where I would challenge you on this. And I would challenge Vogel respectfully. Frank Vogel is a champion. Frank Vogel has had 6 winning seasons. Frank Vogel was known as a defensive mind when he was coaching in Indiana and when they were challenging Miami for supremacy in the Eastern Conference. Frank Vogel is to be respected. I think this man deserves to be a head coach in the National Basketball Association. I'm talking about this situation that's likely going to return its core.
Right.
It is clear they tuned him out.
Right.
It is clear they have not gone all out for him. And when you have that going on as your backdrop, I'm saying we got Magic Johnson courtside at NBA Countdown calling it. We got James Worthy doing post-game, not knowing what to do with himself, trying to find the words. Okay, we got Hall of Famers all over the place that are looking at this dysfunctional disaster known as the Los Angeles Lakers, and they are saying, what the hell is going on? If I can't look at the head coach and you can't find a way to stop the bleeding, what am I supposed to do with you? You're 16 games under 500, Magic. I would have replaced Frank Vogel before the trading deadline expired just to salvage, try to see what I could peel out of them this season.
Well,
that's it.
Well, I think if Jason Kidd was sitting there, that probably would have happened.
Okay.
Right? But who's going to replace him if they do that, right? Replace him mid-season. And I would say this. Somebody's got to take the blame for this mess. It's a mess. So somebody's got to take the blame. So you know Vogel's going to take some of this blame.
No question.
Right? They're going to point the finger at him. And this is what's really bothers me, Molly and Stephen A. This season was never about winning. In terms of, I've never seen the Laker team lose all these close games in the fourth quarter. We couldn't win. And so we got Russell, who's going to go into the Hall of Fame. LeBron going to be in the Hall of Fame. AD's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Carmelo Anthony's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And you mean to tell me we can't win close game? Friday night against the Pelicans was a big game for the Lakers.
That's right.
How we lose that game at home, and we're up 20-something, first of all. Then we're up 7 in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, and we couldn't close it out.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
And I'm going to tell you something that I haven't said. I'm saying, this is
and
important.
one question for
I'm going to say
guys
this to you.
before
I'm
we
going to say
move
this because I've said this on many occasions, and I do it with a smile on my face because everybody knows how I love to live my life. I love my social life. Okay, so if you in South Beach, that matters.
Yes.
You understand? You know, city, Toronto, when the weather's warm, that matters. Okay, L.A., it matters. And what I'm saying is this: I believe that when the Lakers won the championship, a whole bunch of cats got comfortable. It's L.A.
Okay.
We it. And let me tell you something. You know this because you lived in L.A. Of course, you know this, and I've learned this during my time in L.A. Okay?
Who lets this man at the house?
It's just a different flavor, a different feel. The sun shines a little different. The weather seems a little bit better. The atmosphere, the vibe in L.A. is different when the Lakers are winning and they're relevant. And those cats there got comfortable, and it's proved to me everybody ain't made for L.A.
No.
Real quick.
Everybody ain't made for L.A.
No, great point, Stephen A. Before we transition to Kareem, though, I want to ask you this, Magic. How does any of this fall on LeBron? Because, Stephen A., I know initially you said part of it falls on LeBron, but he is taking care of his body. He is having an incredible season. Is it LeBron the GM or LeBron on the court?
Yeah, so Aaron Goodwin, DeMar DeRozan's agent, called me, said, hey, he wants to come home. So I called Rob, said, hey, DeRozan wants to come play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So I got out the way. So I'm thinking, okay, everything gonna work out. Right. They're negotiating.
Yeah.
Then the next thing, I went on vacation. Next thing I hear, we're not gonna sign DeMar DeRozan, but we're gonna sign trade for Westbrook. They had the Buddy Hield trade already done, and bagged up out of that.
Okay.
So if you had Buddy Hield, DeRozan, now we could keep Caruso.
That's right.
We can keep KCP, the guys who defend. See, they're our best on-ball defenders.
And both can shoot.
Yes. And both were happy with their role.
That's right.
We'd be playing Phoenix for the Western Conference Finals.
Gotcha. I'm glad I asked. Now I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, gentlemen, let's get to another Laker legend. That would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's recent comments on LeBron James. Kareem was asked about how LeBron's conducted himself, and he was critical of some of what he said and done. Take a listen. We'll get your reaction.
Some of the things that he's done and said are really beneath him, as far as I can see, with some of the great things that he's done. Standing on both sides of the fence almost, you know. It makes it hard for me to, you know, accept that when he's committed himself to and everything. You know, it's hard to, it's hard to figure out where he's standing. You know, you gotta check him out every time.
Magic. Kareem's criticism here of LeBron, do you think it's fair or foul?
Well, I think he came back and tweeted something like, you know, he was wrong. Kareem is one of the smartest, actually the smartest man I've ever played with or against. The work that both of them have done, Kareem with Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, I mean, they put their career on the line back in the day, you know, to stand up for social justice and discrimination and on and on and on. So LeBron has done great work. So I'm glad that Kareem said, hey, I was wrong. The man, listen, he's the standard. Right now as an athlete in America or in the world, LeBron James is the standard. And so he's done great things on the court, and he's also done great things off the court. So I'm glad Kareem got that past him and corrected it, and so we can move forward, Stephen A.
You're not going to hear me be ultra critical about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The all-time leading scorer in NBA history, 19-time All-Star, 6-time champion, 6-time league MVP, and a civil rights activist.
That's right.
The things that I've accomplished, and obviously to a far greater degree you have accomplished, probably wouldn't have happened if it were not for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars of the world, the Jim Browns of the world, the Kurt Floods of the world, Bill Russells of the world. The list goes on and on and on. So our deference and respect for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar knows no limits. Having said all of that does not mean that we can't respectfully disagree with him.
That's right.
And it does not mean that we can't shine a light on this phenomenal icon that we hope stays here with us for a while, because I know he's had some challenging health issues and we wish nothing but the best. We love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and we appreciate the cerebral approach he has to so many things because he's a thinking man. Here's what I would say to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar real quickly. We love you, sir, but you need to show LeBron James a little bit more love. The time has come for us as a society as a whole. I'll get on LeBron James about a shot selection. I'll get on LeBron James, the GM of the Lakers, not the player, but the GM of the Lakers, because of some decisions that he's made that hasn't quite worked out. You cannot question this man's character.
No.
You cannot question where this man's heart lies. You cannot question the courage that LeBron James has been willing to put forth to speak on behalf of people who cannot speak for themselves. It doesn't mean that he's right with every syllable that comes out of his mouth.
Right.
But when you talk about his intent, be careful. Because LeBron has earned not just our respect, but our deference as an elite athlete who has the world at his feet and could mind his business and go on about his business and no one would say a word.
That's right.
And he doesn't do it. And to show the level of class that LeBron has, what was his word? What were his words when they approached him about Kareem? He said, I have nothing to say, because what he will not do is challenge or be disrespectful to that man. What he would do instead is saying, damn, I know who you are, but my goodness, I tried.
And Melo said he'd like them to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah, and I think they will, you know, because LeBron is smart. Listen, the school that he's built for those kids,
of course,
the scholarships, I mean, everything. Speaking out when, I mean, he didn't have to Stephen A's point. I love LeBron and what he stands for. Also, he's a proud black man, and I'm happy about that as well. So, and both of them, I think their pride, you know, sometimes, you know, they got to sit down, iron it out, work it out. But it'll be a short conversation because Kareem respects LeBron.
Yeah.
And he's getting ready to pass him next season.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of Kareem, rightfully so, that doesn't feel appreciated enough for what he has done for us. But what Kareem needs to remember is that ain't LeBron.
No.
Because LeBron appreciates his history. And he knows what Kareem has done. And more importantly, Kareem has been one of those individuals who has served as an inspiration for LeBron to try to do the things that he has done. Kareem needs to know that and appreciate that.
That's why he wanted to play for the Lakers, LeBron.
That's right.
Because of that history and him understanding. So I think they're honest. It's not a big deal.
I think he took issue with the social post, and then LeBron
Yeah.
explained it, kind of making light of COVID. That's not what LeBron meant. But I will say this, guys. Kareem, side note, wrote an excellent piece about the Chris Rock, Will Smith.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. I implore everybody to go read that, wasn't
smart.
it?
Oh,
he's fantastic.
I love Kareem.
Yeah.
And so I think this is small. This is not a big thing.
For sure.
It's not a big
All right, we'll go back on the court, and we're going to go to the East Coast, gentlemen. Joel Embiid looking like the MVP. We'll get into that later, dropping 40 points in a 112-108 victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday night. James Harden, however, had another off night. James, talk to me.
I'm pushing. I'm not worried about nothing but trying to do whatever it takes to win. It's not always going to be pretty. Tonight was one of those examples, one of those cases, and we come away with a win. So just got to keep pushing.
You know, Magic, makes some sense for me because I'm an East Coast girl, and this whole East Conference, it's just a lot's happening. I don't know who to trust, what to believe.
Yes.
Are you confident or concerned about the Sixers?
Well, until Tobias Harris becomes a factor on the offensive end, yes, I'm concerned because when you think about they need him to take the pressure off of Embiid, and that takes the ball out of James's hand. My problem with the Sixers, he got it too much. And a team can load up on the Sixers because of that. And so if they don't get Harris involved, and then they have one of the worst bench in terms of scoring. They got to get somebody off that bench, Stephen A., that can give them some points. That Curry trade, with Curry going to Brooklyn, that sort of hurt them as well. So I would say this. I like the talent, but Tobias Harris got to be a key.
I feel you on that, Magic. You sound so eloquent in disseminating the brilliance that you just did. Congratulations. But that ain't what you said to me when Brooklyn and Philadelphia first made the trade.
Right.
A matter of fact, if I remember correctly, Magic Johnson, I should have had a tape recorder because when you and I were arguing over the phone, those were the things I said. What did I say? No. Wait a minute now. Hold it now. I'm gonna give you credit. I'm gonna give you credit. Let me take it first. Go ahead. First of all, I told Magic that the head get big now. Go ahead. Magic. All right. Look, what did I say? Go ahead. I picked up the phone, Molly.
Okay, tell me.
The deal went down the afternoon. Forgive me if I don't remember the date specifically in February.
Okay.
The first thing I did was pick up the phone and call Magic. That's the first. I said, my man, you see what just happened? He said, Stephen A., I'm just telling you, Stephen A., you got this all wrong. What do you mean I got it all wrong? I told him. I said, it's going to be a problem. James Harden with Joel Embiid, we don't know about that. Tobias Harris, how he going to get involved? We don't know about that. Oh, by the way, where's that bench? They gave away Seth Curry. They gave away Andre Drummond. Okay, excuse me, Ben Simmons. He said, no, Stephen A. I'm talking about this year. I know down the line in the future, they're going to be all right. But right now, Stephen A., I'm not so sure. And I said, let me tell you something. I ain't sure about Philly. I ain't saying Brooklyn gonna win the chip now. I understand.
Oh, no, hold up. See, I'm giving you credit. Now you're trying to take too much credit. Because you told me Brooklyn gonna win it this year. And I told you, not without defense. Now we know Ben Simmons can't play. No way Brooklyn can win that championship without defense.
I said to you, if Ben Simmons, because you talked about Ben Simmons, and you said he hadn't played, and he got to get himself. You said, not this year, Stephen. And I said,
next year.
And I said they could come out of the East.
Yeah, you said that. But I said can't win a championship. Listen, I told you on this show last year what Brooklyn's problem was on the defensive end.
Sure.
Until they can shut you down, they're not going to be able to win a championship. Now, you were right with Philly. I give you credit. You corrected me. And you said Tobias Harris has to be a major part of the puzzle. You're absolutely right. I apologize. You're right. I was wrong. Now, let's get to what they have to do.
Okay.
So what they have to do is definitely get that ball in his hand. And
whose hands?
In Tobias Harris.
Okay.
You got to get him involved more. You know what? They're too predictable right now. Everybody knows that they're going to run that pick and roll. James going to have it. And because of that, the great teams, the good teams, always beat them. So they're going to have to figure out how to get the ball out of his hands and let other people play with that basketball, especially Harris. And then Joel Embiid got to be the monster that he has been all season long.
Interesting. Figure. I appreciate your honesty, and I admit, I said East, but you were right. I got you. Okay, so we good. We good.
Yeah, we good.
Okay. Here's the deal, man. James Harden, we got a problem. 12 for 38 over his last 3 games. I got the numbers right in front of me over the last 7. He had one game against Milwaukee, shot 9 of 17 from the field, finished with 32 points. Other than that, 7 for 18, 7 for 15, 2 for 11. Last 3 games, 4 for 15, 4 for 10, 4 for 13. We got a problem.
Yeah.
And here's why it's a problem. James Harden doesn't have the personnel to be what he was in Brooklyn, where he passed first, was deferential, shot later. People are saying they need him to go back to being what he was in Houston.
Right.
A, can he still be that dude that he was in Houston? And B, would that be good enough? Because you playing with Embiid, and in order for him to do that, he'd have to be dominant, and that ain't going to happen with Joel Embiid in the lineup.
No.
Talk to me.
No. Well, first of all, you can't go back to that because Philly don't have the same personnel as Houston had, right? They had all shooters, and they stood out at the three-point line, and that allowed him to do his thing, right? Houston. Yep. Now with Philly, you got to feed the big man. That's the first and number one option on offense is Joel Embiid. And that should be. James got to make the adjustment, not the players. He's got to adjust to who he's playing with right now. And then figure out, listen, maybe I don't need to score 20 every night. If I get Harris involved, and what's the young guard? Maxey, then I'm okay. That's 3 scores right there. And then he can play a lesser role. He doesn't have to go back to being James Harden of Houston for them to win. For them to win.
I feel you. But my question would be this. When we watch Maxey, what we see is a guy that operates from the point guard spot. So if you take him off the ball because the ball is in James Harden's hands more, I don't know if he can be that scorer that he is when he has the ball. See, you know this. You know this better than me. There are people who can excel off the ball, and then there are people who need to be on the ball.
Right.
I think in terms of Maxey being a formidable scorer, he needs to be on the ball. If he plays off the ball, I don't know how effective he would be. What do you say to that?
Well, I say this. What I would do is this. I would play Maxey, start him like he's starting now. Then I would have him go to the bench first, so he could play with the second 5.
Okay.
And be that scorer and look for his shots. Because what happens is this. You got to figure out how can you get production from that bench because they have not been producing for the Sixers, right? And maybe putting Maxey, taking him out of the game early to let him play with those guys, the production will go up for the bench. James Harden has to figure this out. This is what this is about. This is about winning championships. This is not about whether I'm scoring 30 points to show everybody I can still score 30 points. It's not about that. This is about winning. This is about, hey, Joe Embiid and I got to take the Sixers to the NBA Finals and win a championship.
Okay.
In order for them to do that, he's got to do less, not more. James Harden. He's got to do less, not more, because he has guys that can put it in the basket. And then Molly, last but not least, is this. You got to justify this trade, James Harden.
Yeah.
See?
And you got to show you can get it done in the playoffs.
That's right. Well, that's how you got to justify it. You know, so now you got to show everybody you can really lead a team to the NBA Finals and win the championship, James Harden.
Especially when Kyrie looked him in the face, according to reports, and told him, you washed up. He said that to him.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason they had to fall out in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And Brooklyn went in there and beat them by what? Almost 30 points
I was at the game.
at home.
I left. I left when they were down by 30. It was bad.
Before we get to MVP, real quick, so would you have the Bucks out of the East right now? I know a lot can change. The 4 games are separated
the champ
by 2.5.
is the favorite.
Okay.
Milwaukee is just 1 through 15 is just really the best team. They're playing the best. But I'd say Miami is if Miami can get past whatever issues they had, they have the talent too.
Yeah.
I love their roster. I love their coach. I think that they're tough as well.
Miami Bucks. That's music to your ears because you'd be in Miami.
Because I'd be in Miami. I would be very happy. I would be very, very happy.
We know.
And watch out for Dallas and Memphis in the West.
Memphis, yeah, Dallas,
I don't think Golden State going to get there.
All right, let me get to MVP. According to Caesars, Nikola Jokic is the favorite to win MVP, followed by Joel Embiid and then Giannis. Jokic has been ridiculous lately, scoring 35 points on 65% shooting in 3 consecutive games, tied for the longest streak in NBA history. Here's Embiid.
If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I don't know what I had to do at this point. At this point, I feel like, they hate me. So the standard for, guys in Philly or for me is different than the standard than everybody else.
We talked about what he did earlier, putting up 44 yesterday. Should Embiid win MVP?
He was my choice all the way to the midseason. All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, I think that the Joker has been amazing. I mean, all season long, but just putting up numbers. It is hard to decide between those two. And then Giannis can win it every year. He's probably got that LeBron James syndrome where we got to pick somebody else. Because he's so great. But I like Embiid, but I have to say that the Joker is probably going to win it. He's probably the guy. I was hoping Embiid get it because I love him as a man and as a person. And I love his spirit.
Yes,
it's so fun.
Sure.
It's magnetic.
Yes.
It's magnetic. I love Joel Embiid, and I couldn't agree with you more. He was my choice for league MVP for most of the season. Then I watched DeMar DeRozan ascend when Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso were out, and DeMar DeRozan was doing his thing. Then I was like, Jokic, not only because 26, 13, and 8, 53%, 58% shooting from the field, 34% shooting from three-point range. He's doing it without Jamal Murray, without Michael Porter Jr. The brother can't jump onto a curve, and no one can stop him. I just can't believe it. But I feel an obligation while Magic Johnson is here to bring up another name, and I brought this up on NBA Countdown yesterday, and I'm going to do it again. Devin Booker. Ladies and gentlemen, Magic Johnson, you're a 5-time champion. You went to 9 NBA finals. One of the reasons so many people call you the greatest Laker of all time isn't even just because of that. They talked about your leadership, your ability to galvanize the troops, and to make sure that the bottom line, which is winning, was the priority first. You said when we win, we all gonna get ours.
Exactly.
If we lose, it don't matter. Devin Booker is averaging 26, 5, and 5. Devin Booker is playing on the best team in basketball, who's virtually been the best team from start to finish. Devin Booker, in the 15 games without CP3, went 12-3. Devin Booker is playing for a team that is 7.5 games better than Memphis, and 12 games better than Milwaukee, Miami, or anybody else in the Eastern Conference. They're going to have the coach of the year, Monty Williams, even though Taylor Jenkins has done a phenomenal job in Phoenix and Memphis. And Memphis, I'm sorry. And Udoka in Boston deserves strong consideration as well. Phenomenal job. There is no question that Monty Williams is the coach of the year. Mikal Bridges, probably the defensive player of the year. I get all of that. But Devin Booker, the show that this brother puts on
would you
night
vote
in
for
and
him
night out,
right now?
I probably would.
Wow.
Right now, as an aside, there's another Hall of Famer who's one of the great players that ever played this game, that has similar initials to yours. That text me yesterday was talking about I'm wrong. He ain't on first take though. But he just calls and cusses me out. But that's okay. That's okay. All right. We'll remain nameless. Okay. He don't necessarily agree. He thinks he thinks the Giannis's of the world and others. But Devin Booker would warrant strong consideration.
Okay.
2 guys that won't get the respect.
Yep.
DeRozan and Booker. For whatever reason. when you lead your team to the best record, you should always get consideration. Yes. And back in my day, that's what it was all about. Yeah. Where's your team as well as how you're playing, right?
Of course.
But I would say this, Molly, this is probably the toughest year because everybody had Embiid as their number one guy. And we all thought he was going to win it.
Yeah.
And the team fell off with their production and not winning. And then the Joker, he catapulted. And so you got to give both of them credit and Giannis credit because it's his league right now.
Yes.
Yep.
And him and Kevin Durant, whoo,
Anybody.
man.
Anybody that gets picked, we can't argue.
That's right.
We could argue on behalf of all four of those guys.
It's a tight race.
Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Devin Booker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And DeRozan.
And DeRozan.
And DeRozan could have been a Laker.
But he fell out.
But we're not going to go there. We're not going to leave that. Magic isn't done yet. Plenty more to get into with him, especially this. It's Masters Week, gentlemen. So grab your red polo shirts. Tiger Woods working his way back for Augusta.
Yeah, Tiger.
Would this be the greatest comeback ever? Stick around. So much more First Take to come.
Magic admitted he was wrong.
I told you.
I mean, he admitted it.
I can admit when I'm wrong, brother. I can admit when I'm wrong.
Did you see his face?
I know.
We're either going to rebound better or it's going to get worse than this.
Swallowed up by Boston. Here comes Henderson.
Incredible effort, start to finish.
It is not unfinished business any longer. South Carolina has captured its second national championship.
Honestly, I've been thinking about this since last season because everyone had a picture of me crying. But today we're national champions and I me too.
All right, I'm contractually obligated. South Carolina, heartbreaking exit in the Final Four last year, but this time they get redemption, a dominant win over UConn, 64-49, handing Coach Gino Auriemma's Huskies their first title game loss in 12 appearances.
First things first, are you okay? You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, we have 11.
I mean, I understand that.
We have 11, so like they have 2. I mean, it's cool. If we're going to include the men, we got 15, so we're good.
I will say this real quickly. Before I got started in this business covering the NBA for the Philadelphia Inquirer, I covered Temple University and stuff like that. I've known Dawn Staley for a long, long time. I haven't seen her in years. I'm so proud of her. She's such a phenomenal coach. And to go to a second national title, 14-0 against ranked teams. I mean, the 12th team in history to go wire to wire as the #1 team in the nation and win it all. She's just one hell of a coach. Yeah, she really is.
It reminded me in 1984 when we lost to the Celtics, and then in '85, the next year, we came back and beat the Celtics. And for them to lose in the finals last season and see those young ladies cry, and this year to come back and win.
Leah Edwards,
No,
just, for sure.
It was just wonderful. Yeah, wonderful.
And
it was a great game.
They killed us on the boards.
Yeah.
UConn turned the ball over too much, couldn't shoot the 3. But
well, they double-teamed Becker. They took her out. That was the key.
But she's a junior next season. Fudd's a junior. A lot of people are coming back. We're going to need more bigs. But
You'll be back.
South Carolina's going to be back, too.
They'll be back.
Yeah.
They'll be back.
It's great for women's sports, though.
Yes, it is.
Great game.
We had great games all weekend.
Yes,
we'll get into the other ones later. All right, now to the pros. Kevin Durant, he can't do it all by himself. KD carrying the load all season despite a 55, did you see this point performance? The Nets fall to the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday. So here's how the playoff picture currently looks. The Nets have already clinched a spot in the play-in tournament and still could improve their seeding with 4 games remaining on the season. 3 of Brooklyn's final 4 games at home. Magic, what do you think's more likely? The Brooklyn Nets having an early exit or a deep playoff run?
I think they're going to still have a deep playoff run. I think they'll win the play-in. I'm not worried about that when you have Kyrie and you have Kevin Durant. They're going to beat the Hornets or whoever's sitting there. I think that, you can have the best record being Miami and you're going to get the Brooklyn Nets. And so, listen, in a short series or 7-game series with Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they can win a series.
Yeah.
They just can't win, the championship. But they can win definitely a series or 2. And they're going to give people a lot of problems, Brooklyn. But my problem is still the same thing. It's still defense, defense, and defense with them. Even you saw Kevin scoring 55 points. Well, they got beat. against the Atlanta Hawks. And so they've been losing these last 3 or 4 weeks. They haven't really played well. And so they got to get on a run, Stephen A., and start playing good basketball. They should use this last 4 games to try to really gain some momentum going into the playoff.
It's feeling like the super teams are a flop this season.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. First of all, I'm not giving up on the Nets because I think they're so explosive offensively. They can beat anybody. And the only team whose continuity I trust is Milwaukee. Okay? And you never know what they're going to run into because you're going to face one or the other if you're the Nets in the first round. Okay? Because I'm like you, assuming they're going to get past the play-in and they'll get a first-round series against whoever that number 1 seed is going to be. And if it's Miami, then the Nets would be able to face them later, and who knows what's going to happen to Milwaukee because they're up and down sometimes, too, offensively, and we got to respect that. Because the Nets can drop 130 on you in the blink of an eye. Kyrie Irving is a problem. The Atlanta Hawks the other night watched Kevin Durant put on an absolute show. He finished with 55 points. Do you know that Kyrie Irving shot the ball more than Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant shot the ball 28 times. Kyrie Irving shot the ball 32 times. What the hell are you doing? Shooting the ball more than Kevin Durant when Kevin Durant's in the midst of dropping 55 points. Late in the game, Kyrie Irving was the one launching shots. He didn't give the ball to KD. How is that possible? How is that possible? Okay, these are the same arguments you used to bring up about Westbrook when they were in Oklahoma City together. Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Right now, if you look, Kevin Durant is the one that's been playing all season with the exception of the injury that he incurred that made him miss about 17 games, okay? Kevin Durant's the one that's been playing all season, on the road, at home, okay? He's been the one there consistently when healthy. And yet, Kyrie Irving is averaging more shots per game than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is shooting 20 shots a game. Kyrie's shooting 21 and a half shots a game. How is that possible? So if you are the Brooklyn Nets, where I would defer and lean in your direction, I'm thinking of Brooklyn and what they're supposed to be. But looking at who they are, this can't continue and you're going to win. Now, Seth Curry comes there, he's going to get some shots. Andre Drummond's going to get some rebounds and offensive rebounds, and that's going to give him more opportunities at the bite at the apple. Lord help them if Ben Simmons comes in there because he's a playmaker extraordinaire. He ain't going to shoot for you. He ain't going to hit free throws for you. But he damn sure can set up for other people to shoot, and we get all of that. But when I look at Brooklyn, this is a problem. But I want to veer left and come at you with something. Because while you're here, the 5-time champion and Hall of Famer and greatest point guard in NBA history that you are, I have been on the record. People think I'm a little bit too hard on Kyrie. Now, I disagree with that. I just think that I'm calling it like I see it. My issue is not, people can think about what they want, talk to your medical professionals. I'm not getting into who should take shots and all of this stuff because of the vaccine and the COVID-19. I get on it about Kyrie because you were willing to cost your team the season. They're there because of you. And you played 19 games until the mandate was lifted recently by New York Mayor Eric Adams. You were willing to cost your team the season. And I take very big offense to that because it's supposed to be about the chip. Everybody else vaccinated. There's a whole bunch of people in the league and a whole bunch of people on the team that didn't want to be vaccinated. Okay, but they did it because they're trying to win the chip. That's where I hold Kyrie accountable. How do you feel about the position that I've taken? Do you think I'm wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're spot on because you're the leader, Kyrie. You called everybody. Come on, KD, come play with me. Come on, we can do something special together in Brooklyn. And KD said, okay, I'm in. You called James Harden. Okay, come on, you go from Houston to Brooklyn. A leader got to step up in tough times. Right? I was the leader of the Lakers. So everything I was going to do, everybody was going to follow that. KD got his shot. We're waiting on you, Kyrie, because I signed up based on you telling me you're going to be here. And the fact that you can still say, man, I'm against this. I'm going to get this shot, but I'm against it.
Like Andrew Wiggins.
That's right. That's right. You hurt your team because they missed you. And right now, they're still trying to figure out how to play with you. Because all season long, they didn't have you. right? Kyrie's got to figure out this. I got Curry, and I got Patty Mills, and I got KD, right? And I love Patty Mills. He knows how to win.
Yes, he does.
So when KD is rolling, it's about mismatches. And we definitely going to see that in the playoffs. Whatever team has a mismatch and goes to those mismatches, that's who wins. So he's got to figure out, if I got it rolling, okay, let me do my thing. But if KD got it rolling, or we need Curry to hit threes and we need Patty Mills to hit threes, I got to make sure they get their shots up, especially if they're double teaming me or my shot is off and my game is not going good. They're going to have a tough time because of the fact that teams know this about them. They can attack them inside. Mm-hmm. You can drive the ball to the basket against the Brooklyn Nets and no resistance.
Molly, real quick before we go, because I know we got to get ready to get on out of here and bring up something about Tiger real quick. I had a Hall of Famer that I was sharing with Isaiah Thomas during the break. When they were arguing with me about Kyrie, I said, what would y'all do if he was on your team and you had a championship on the line? They said, we'd have tied him up and gave him the damn shot ourselves. And I asked Magic, you agree with that?
No question.
Because it's not just any year, it's the year you're the favorite to win it all. And everyone came because of you.
That's
all right. I'm going to blow off the Tiger lead because you all know the story here with Tiger and how improbable this would be. But he's a game-time decision. He wants to play in the Masters. Would this be the greatest comeback ever, considering what he went through with that car crash and all the surgeries? We didn't even know if he could walk.
No question about it. It would be the greatest. And all the golfers want him to come back.
Absolutely.
Because more viewers, more eyeballs will be on them.
More money.
Listen. You just said it right there. Tiger brings something special every time he's on that course. Guys like me, I'm not a big golf fan, but if Tiger playing, I'm watching.
Right.
For sure.
Right? I'm watching. So that's what happens. He gets everybody to come watch. Everybody gets more hyped and excited. So I hope he plays.
Here's the deal. And I think this is what everybody's missing about this whole Tiger story. It's the first time in his career he's playing with house money. He can't do anything wrong the second he walks on that course because he almost died.
Right.
Yeah.
We all saw the visual. You know LA, you know where the crash took place. You know what he was driving. You know how lucky he is to be alive, to still be able to hug his kids, to still be able to hug his loved ones and to be there for everybody. We saw the damage and read about the damage to his leg. We didn't even know if he would ever be able to walk again the same, let alone play golf. This would be the first time he goes on the course and we don't give a damn how he looks.
Exactly.
As long as he's able to go on the course and swing that club, we are totally fine. It's the first time in his career we have no golf expectations placed on his shoulders. We're just going to applaud the fact that this dude is back on the course, and we're going to be thankful
the resiliency.
for that.
Now we see how he became Tiger, but also I want to see how you became Magic. Apple TV Plus. I love you and I love a good doc. They call me Magic. Coming out April 22nd. Talk to me. What can I expect?
Well, you know, Stephen A. Smith is in it.
He's in it?
Yeah, my boy Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, President Obama, President Clinton.
Oh, just a few.
Shaq, you know, Barkley. You know,
just a few regular guys.
Yeah. Howard Schultz, all my business partners, my family, my parents, my brothers and sisters, my beautiful wife Cookie, as well as my 3 incredible kids. So it's going to be wonderful. It is. We started in Lansing all the way to Los Angeles. So the journey, and so it's really wonderful. And I'm just excited. Once Last Dance came out with Michael Jordan, and it just did phenomenally well all across the world. My phone started ringing when his last episode aired and said, when are you going to do yours? So here I am doing mine. Thank you.
And thanks for all the content we're going to have now, because we're going to be dissecting every interview, every angle, reading into everything. You know how we do.
That's why I didn't sit in the edit room. I said, I'm not going to do it or it'll never come out.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything right. So I just said, let the experts do it.
I grew up in New York City. I grew up loving the game of basketball. I watched this man play at Michigan State, knock off Indiana State and Larry Bird, win the championship with Kelson and boys. And obviously watching his phenomenal career. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to accomplish a lot of things in my life. One of the greatest things that greatest honors of my life is to call this man my friend.
Yeah, well, vice versa.
He is something special and an incredible inspiration, and to know that the story is going to transcend from early childhood with your parents and your father and all the things that he had to do just to make ends meet, to keep y'all afloat, your mother, your brothers, everybody involved, and to go from there to Michigan State, to the Los Angeles Lakers and everything in between.
To the National Championship game, denying Coach K's 10th trip to the title game. There he is, my guy, Coach Seth Greenberg. Top of the morning to you, sir. Coach, what went wrong for Duke?
North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina, that was a high-level game, Molly. You talk about a high-level game. Two elite teams absolutely going at each other. Big shots made. You know, everyone was worried about Duke in terms of how would they handle the pressure. They handled the pressure seamlessly. What they didn't handle was Caleb Love, who happened in the second half for 26 points. If there's anything I thought that Duke could have done better, less three-point shots, 4 for 22. Look, this is a Duke team that only had 4 turnovers in the game. Pound that thing aside, get paint touches, live in the paint. They had 48 points in the paint. They could have played through Paolo Banchero a little bit more and maybe brought Mark Williams back in the first half when he had the 2 fouls, maybe brought him back earlier. But this was a high-level game. North Carolina, Hubert Davis, great game plan. Caleb Love knocking down shots. R.J. Davis, a New York City guard, making plays in the first half. Carolina went out and won this game.
I completely agree with you, Coach, but I'm very thankful and very grateful to both Duke and North Carolina because I think it's arguably, if not arguably, the greatest rivalry in sports. I love it. For the most part, you always get a thriller. This year, that wasn't the case. Duke beat them pretty handily the first go-round. Carolina got them back on a Cameron Indoor finale for Mike Krzyzewski. But they gave us the kind of game you would expect to see from Duke, North Carolina, and I love it. Here's what I want to ask you. I know you said they could have played through Banchero a little bit more, and there's no doubt about that. But I'm also going to hold him accountable, Coach, because I love his future. I love his upside. Please don't get me wrong. But what did we debate about? Even not even really debate about, we talked about last week, the assertiveness, the willingness to go get it. Caleb Love did that, and he's been doing it throughout the tournament. He shows up in the second half. That's what I love about this kid Love. This dude, he shows up in the second half. I expected that from Banchero considering how he looked for the most part throughout this game. But when it really, really counted, I didn't see him. What do you say about that?
Well, Trevor Keels made 2 big threes to kind of hold off a couple of Carolina runs. So, I mean, he got the ball in a position to score. He made shots. Wendell Moore made that big 3 to put the Duke up. But all season long, I've said I'd like to see Paolo Banchero is a unique talent. 6'10", 250 pounds, can put it on the floor, can shoot the 3. In that moment, you wanted him to be the guy, like a lot of ways that Caleb Love was. Caleb Love, think about this. He wants the ball in that moment, Stephen A. He wants the ball, make or miss. All right, he wants the ball. He wants to make that play. That last shot he made over Mark Williams, outstretched hand off that high ball screen. Goodness gracious, you talk about embracing the moment. Think about the drives he had coming into the lane and the floaters. Think about the plays he made when that team needed someone to get out and score. And he only had 6 points in the first half. But in the second half, he puts his arms around the game. So Caleb Love made the plays down the stretch. R.J. Davis made them in the first half. Armando Bacot is a walking double-double.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see Paolo Banchero be a little more assertive in the second half.
That's all I was saying.
Take over the game.
It didn't disappoint. But, Coach, I want to get to Kansas because, honestly, even though I'm a UConn fan, I was rooting for Villanova because I don't want the Big East to get stopped on. I know they were hurt. But Kansas, it looked like, to me, a pro team versus a college team. I mean, they are just loaded. UNC against Kansas tonight in the national championship game. What chance do you give Carolina?
Well, first of all, this Final Four, this championship game, Molly, is not about pros. It's about programs because both of these teams are programs. There's only one first-round draft choice playing in this game. If Armando Bacot is not healthy, Carolina struggles. I mean, just plain and simple, they can't play without him. They have no backup for Armando Bacot.
Zero.
What is Bill Self going to do? I'll tell you what Bill Self's going to do. First 4 minutes of the game, he's playing through David McCormick because that's what he does anyway. He likes to establish the low post. He's going to put Bacot in a ball screen, roll David McCormick down to the block, see how he's moving laterally. Then he's going to try to get him posted, maybe reverse the ball, search him across the lane, try to isolate him on the block. because everyone knows if you get Armando Bacot out of the game,
yeah,
Carolina's not the same team. They're plus 330 with him on the floor. They're minus 80 with him off the floor. On a bum ankle, I think that it's really going to be a tough run for North Carolina. Unless, what's Love got to do with it?
That's
a
right.
lot. Unless Caleb Love just takes over the game.
Well, part of First Take, Coach, you got to give me something to say. I mean, damn. I mean, you covered all bases because that's exactly where I was going, Coach. Caleb Love is their only chance.
Yeah.
Their only chance. Now, Bacot, listen, the brother had 21 rebounds, okay? I mean, you talk about back-to-back games with 20-plus rebounds. This dude has been something special. Give him credit where credit is due. I don't think he's that seasoned, that polished offensively, but obviously when it comes to rebounding the basketball, limiting you to one shot, that's going to be pivotal in a game like this against Kansas because they got some ballers. Kansas is a clear favorite to win the national championship tonight. I think the chances of North Carolina of winning are minimal, but it's March Madness. It's Cinderella time. It's that time of the year where the improbable is not only happens, but it's likely more often than it is in any other sport. And I think that's potentially there tonight. But it's gonna have to be Love. Love's gonna have to go ballistic and just go off in the second half the way he did. Because if he's hitting shots, the game is tight. And my philosophy, Coach, is very simple. When things get tight, palms get sweaty, and you know what else gets tight. And that, to me, is what this is all about. So Kansas is going to have to run away with this. If Carolina keeps it close, and Love is getting off because he's pulling up from the parking lot. Yeah. He's not shy about shooting. If he does that, that to me is the only shot Carolina has of winning this game. Of course, Bacot got to be in there to grab rebounds. But Caleb Love, Caleb Love, he's got to resemble Steph Curry tonight. On Steph Curry's good nights, by the way. He's got to resemble Steph Curry in order to pull this off. Otherwise, Kansas is winning the national championship.
Coach, you get the final word here.
Wait a second. First of all, did I stifle Stephen A? He said, wait, this is First Take. He didn't even get a chance to get his point across. This is a first. There's no doubt about it. This might never ever happen before. The last number 8 seed to win it all, Villanova. I'm just saying it is possible, but it's possible. Bacot's got to be healthy. If he's not healthy, it's going to put so much pressure.
Yes.
You know, they just don't have the depth. I mean, they go 6 deep. They don't have anyone that can match up front. Right. And this is a Kansas team. It's not just David McCormick. It's not just Ochai Agbaji. It's not just Remy Martin. It's Christian Brown. It's Wilson. They got so many bodies to throw at you. It's going to be a really tough run, but what a year. What a job Hubert Davis has done with this North Carolina
Hubert Davis,
absolutely.
Phenomenal job. Proud of the job that he's done. Very, very happy for him. Big-time acquisition for the program, especially with Coach K leaving. Mm-hmm. And now you got Hubert Davis getting them there in his first year. We're going to see Carolina recruiting a lot better, than, listen, believe it or not, even though were always recruiting. But I'll tell you this one. Yes, I said it. Caleb Love, Chew. Bacot's got to be there. But I'm telling you, Coach, this is going to be without Bacot, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance without Bacot. But if him on the floor, Caleb Love just has to shoot the basketball.
I mean, Hubert Davis said he's going to be out there.
And Bill Self.
Just wishful speaking.
Only one national title. Bill Self, phenomenal coach, tremendous program. You got to get more than one national title when you're as great as Bill Self is. That's a big deal for tonight as well.
All right, Coach, we'll talk to you tomorrow. You enjoy the game and all the festivities. I'm looking forward to it. Still to come on First Take, Tiger Woods on the prowl. Oh, what a moment that would be at the Masters this week. But will he actually tee it up at Augusta? My guy, Michael Collins, standing by. Always must-see TV. And who would have thought the Nets analyst, Michael Collins, who always brings a smile to my face. Michael, so good to see you. And obviously, sir, so good to see Tiger. He hasn't played on tour in more than a year after he was seriously injured in that car wreck outside LA. When many of us wondered if he'd ever play again, if he'd ever walk again even. What's the latest on his status?
Well, Molly, I was out and saw Tiger hitting balls yesterday, and the big thing that I got from Tiger that I had heard from somewhere else about when he came over and played 18 holes on Tuesday, it was on his feet. Tiger was not wearing his normal Nike shoes. He's actually wearing a FootJoy shoe because I've been told that it's just a lot more comfortable for him to walk what is probably the second hardest walk on the PGA Tour, with Kapalua probably being the first hardest. But Augusta is just a really tough walk. Tiger, when he was warming up, looked good. Didn't look like he was trying to do anything over the top. He actually played about 9 holes yesterday, but while he was warming up, was definitely cordial with a whole bunch of the players and looked to be in very good spirits. He just looked like he wasn't going after any shots really hard.
Michael, man, it's good to see you and good to talk to you as always, man. I made this point just a little while ago with Urban Magic Johnson here, that this is one of the first times I think that Tiger, assuming he obviously competes in the Masters, is playing with house money. It's the first time there's never been any expectations of him in his golf career, because, you know, obviously we thought that, you know, he almost got killed, for crying out loud. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's one thing for me to say that, but could you give us some insight, some perspective on how Tiger is feeling as it pertains to that? It's one thing to compete. It's another thing just to be out there having fun and just to be ecstatic that you're able to play the sport that you love.
That's very true. And, you know, let's be honest, man, me and you don't agree on a lot of stuff a lot of times, but on this thing, we agree 100%, my brother. And it's good to hear your voice as well and see you too. I will say this. We saw Tiger, like you said, in a place where he just thought, I'm just happy to be out here swinging a golf club again. We saw that at the father-son, the PNC. And if you remember, him and Charlie got into contention and made a run to try and win that tournament. And at that time, everyone was talking. Even Matt Kuchar, fellow competitor, said, Tiger's game is good enough right now. But, of course, Tiger was the one to say, look, my stamina's just not there. I can ride around in a golf cart all day and just jump out and hit a golf shot, which is basically what he was doing at the father-son. But to see him out here at Augusta, no one expected him to show up here. And he still hasn't said that he's definitely going to play. The thing that you're exactly right about as well, just seeing Tiger on a golf course at Augusta, even if it was for 9 holes in practice, he's playing with that house money. Now, I think we know he played 9 yesterday. We know he's going to play 9 late this afternoon with Justin Thomas, and I think Harold Varner III might join him. Freddie Couples might even jump in that foursome as well. I think right now what Tiger's doing is, let me get some walking in and see how I feel the next day. Let me get some walking in and then see how I feel after that. Because here's the thing. He's got to go 18 on Thursday and 18 on Friday. And the thing to remember is the forecast for Thursday and Friday, the temperature's going to drop, which is good to keep the swelling down on the ankle. But for that 5 surgery back, not as good.
Let me ask you this before I let you get on out of here. It's one thing for us to speculate about what the sport of golf has been like without Tiger Woods. What is the sport of golf saying about what its sport has been like without Tiger Woods?
And here's the funny thing. If people ask all the time, hey, man, did the guys talk about Tiger when he ain't out there? Yeah. Everybody talks about Tiger. Players, caddies, volunteers, us in the media. I mean, people say, does Tiger still move the needle? Move the needle. Tiger's the needle, the stand, and the shipping crate it came in. It's still like that for him out here. Because, listen, how many times have we looked at Tiger and be like, well, he's done now, and he wins. Yep. Well, he's done now, and he wins. So everyone this week is 100% sure. Look, if he's here and he's going through everything he's going through to try and prepare, he's got to try and tee it up. Now, I might be the one guy who thinks everybody pump the brakes just a little bit, because there's a chance that on Wednesday, after all this preparation goes, I don't think I can do that. You know, Tiger's hard-headed enough that he might try, but everybody I've talked to, not one person doesn't think he's going to give it a go this week. And if he gives it a go, it's Tiger. He's the only dude in the history of sports that you go, are you going to bet against him? I'd like to, but
Yeah, beyond inspiring. He captured his first Masters 25 years ago, so just looking at that anniversary date, but it's unbelievable and improbable that he's even out there. And Michael, the good thing is he's scheduled to speak tomorrow at 11 a.m. We will carry that press conference live. You will be back with us. We will have all the reaction. So looking forward to chatting with you again. Again, Tiger Live tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll carry it right here on First Take. Michael, have fun out there. We'll talk to you.
All right, Mike.
I'm just trying to make y'all smile. You know that's what I do.
And you always do it. Still to come on First Take, I am contractually 1 year after a heartbreaking loss in the Final Four to eventual champion Stanford. #1 South Carolina found redemption, earning the program's second national championship with a victory over UConn last night. National Player of the Year, Aaliyah Boston, recorded her 30th double-double of the season and was named the Final Four's most outstanding player. Dawn Staley, now 2-0 as a coach in national championship games, as the Gamecocks become the 8th program to win multiple national titles in NCAA women's basketball history. Our analyst, Andrea Carter, joining us now. Andrea, is this your First Take debut? Because I don't think we've had you on before when I've been on, so I'm pretty pumped about this.
This is it. This is my first take.
Welcome.
Welcome from Minnesota.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for doing this with us. I know you were up late with all the action. This one hurts. I'm a UConn Husky, but North Carolina, this is the question they want me to ask. Is South Carolina, excuse me, I'm thinking the men's, is South Carolina the new dynasty in women's college basketball?
Yes. To give you a one-word answer, yes, South Carolina is. But to elaborate, in my opinion, to have a dynasty, you have to win championships. And I know that you said, Molly, that this is Dawn Staley's second. Yeah. But for me personally, it's her third, in my opinion, because in 2020, when that tournament got canceled, they were the #1 team in the nation, and I think it was their national championship to lose. So it really could have been 3 out of the last 6 years. So championships for 1, and then 2, you have to have talent that trusts the process. They have a #1 recruiting class in the nation this year. Nobody in that class played more than 15 minutes. They had Camila Cardoso, who was ACC Freshman of the Year last year, come to South Carolina to play behind Aaliyah Boston. So when you've got championships and then you have true talent coming in to patiently wait their turn, that's what I think a dynasty represents. And they've got a great class coming in. So I would say South Carolina is creating a dynasty right now.
Well, listen, I wanted to stay there because we all love and respect UConn and Gino Auriemma and the great job that he's done throughout the decades. We know how phenomenal he is, but I'm looking at Dawn Staley, and when I mentioned her because I covered Temple, people assuming I said she went to Temple. No, she's from Philadelphia. She went to Virginia. She's from Philadelphia, okay? And that's how I knew her. And to consider the job that she's doing, Andrea, I just want you to put in perspective, how has she been able to pull this off, to go to South Carolina and establish and build the program that she's built? What has she been able to do that few have ever been able to do in the history of women's college basketball? We talk about, listen, we talked about Pat Summitt back in the day, and obviously Gino Auriemma still, and of course Notre Dame and Stanford, the programs that they built. But what Dawn Staley has done at South Carolina has been special. How has she done it?
It's been incredible. You know, I remember being at Tennessee when I committed in high school to Tennessee. One of my best friends committed to South Carolina, and Dawn Staley, that's Tiffany Mitchell. She's one of the players that laid the groundworks for what they have here. And I remember being like, you're going to South Carolina? And now I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why she picked South Carolina. But really the way she's done it, Stephen A., is just by being herself. I mean, the way that she connects to her players, the way that she keeps it real with them. I have sat in her practices, and I've wanted to be on the team because she keeps it real. She lays it out. She lets everybody know what's expected of them, and all they have to do is achieve it. The way she explains the game, it always makes sense. She answers any questions that they have. And for me, she does the best job at letting them be themselves, but also keeping them in line and holding them to her standard. It's such a great balance of, I love you, we're going to have a great time, but this is how we do things. And it's been consistent year after year. And now the championships and the success is really starting to come through.
Yeah, and she's building something special. But let's look ahead to next year. We need to get back to UConn because they're looking to build. It's a fairly young team, right? Still having stars. I mean, Beckers and Fudd both coming back. But then South Carolina, Aaliyah Boston, only a junior. But the game's leading scorer, Destiny Henderson, will graduate along with some key players. I know UConn obviously needs some more bigs, but who do you think is going to have a better returning team? Is it South Carolina or UConn?
You know, Molly, I'll give UConn credit because Paige is obviously incredible. I mean, she's making shots in yesterday. One leg, turnaround jump shots. UConn's offense at times was when she didn't give the basketball up, when she just kept the basketball in her hands. that was their best offense, but she's not 100% healthy. So to bank on what she's going to be like in her return, mind you, a full summer to get healthy might be the best thing for Paige. But right now, we don't know what's going to happen with Paige. Aaliyah Edwards has been phenomenal, but struggled with consistency this season. Nika Mule, a great defender, but her offense has to get going. So for me, South Carolina has a stronger returning class because you know what you're going to get from Aaliyah Boston. Bree Beal brings the defense, but she also was very consistent on the offensive end. Zaya Cook can give you a bucket. Letitia Mehier, I think, is going to have a breakout season. That's the #1 class in 2019. They're going to be seniors next year. They're going to be seniors that lost in the Final Four, and they're going to be seniors that have won a national championship. It's really hard to compete with that senior class. Exactly.
Yeah, I could see them winning another national title. We're talking about a Dawn Staley that inherited the program in 2008 and never been to a Final Four. And now she's won 2 national titles and has built a powerhouse. So I'm paying attention to that. South Carolina, the favorite. I get it. Let me go to my favorite players, Andrea. Let me tell you this, okay? Paige Beckett, I know what she brings to the table. I get it. But what about Caitlin Clark? I mean, this is the Steph Curry of women's college basketball. I know she didn't have a strong showing in the NCAA tournament. Great shooters have off nights, damn it. That's what happened. She'll be back. And what I want to know is what can I expect from her next season and what can I expect from that program? Because I'd love to see them make a deep run just so I can watch her.
You can expect a whole lot of buckets from Caitlin Clark. You know, if there is one thing that she's going to do, it's get you a bucket. I think her range is going to extend. Her handles are going to get tighter. But my favorite thing about Caitlin Clark, though, Stephen A., is how she finds her teammates. You're talking about triple doubles. I've never gotten a triple double. I've never even dreamed of getting a triple double. It's just that difficult. Triple double machine. She finds her teammates. I think the biggest piece for Iowa is to put a few more scorers around her just to give her a little more space. She has to work so hard to do the things that she does. That's what makes it so impressive. Give her one more scorer. Give her a couple more options. She's got Sedano down low. I love that for her. Give her more options, and she's going to do even more with what she has.
She is the first female I've seen pull up from 30 on a regular.
Yes.
30.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Something special.
Yes.
Andrea Carter, you've been crushing it. I've been watching you. It's so great to finally have you here on First Take.
Welcome aboard.
Come back and join us again. So appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Still to come on First Take, we've heard all